deep dive today into exactly how the Queen felt about Meghan Markle. And when I say she hated her, I know some people will think that is a strong word, Brittany, but I just want to explain what I mean. How important was it for you, Meghan, to wear a damn veil at your wedding, given that you're hardly a traditionalist, love, when it comes to nuptials, given your wedding with Trevor Engelson was full of everyone smoking pot?
We know how she controls Harry, and yet, we're sort of...
What if the late Queen Elizabeth's final confrontation with Meghan Markle had nothing to do with the claims discussed during the Oprah interview? What if the real tension came from a completely different issue that had been quietly circulating in whispers for years? According to people described as palace insiders, the most intense disagreement between the monarch and the Duchess of Sussex may have centered on one topic that has followed the story for a long time: questions about surrogacy. Reports now suggest that during the Queen's final months, this subject became impossible to ignore. As new conversations surface, supporters of Meghan and royal watchers alike are reacting strongly, because if even a small part of these claims is accurate, it could challenge the public narrative that has surrounded the couple for years. Some commentators online have pointed to moments they say raised eyebrows. They talk about the so-called moon bump incident, unusual timelines, and the lack of certain public details that normally surround royal births. Whether those observations are meaningful or simply misunderstandings remains a topic of debate. Still, the speculation has continued to circulate across forums, documentaries, and social media discussions. In September 2022, Queen Elizabeth II passed away at Balmoral Castle at the age of 96. What many people did not realize at the time was how much reflection and concern reportedly filled her final months. Several commentators
told off, as it were, by an awful lot of people, or they don't want to listen to us or what we write. I get that anyway sometimes.
Did Meghan Markle use a surrogate? That's been something posited literally for well over 3 years when it comes to her firstborn son Archie and even her daughter Lillibet. And many people even wonder, are their children even real?
Harry and Meghan Markle's surrogacy scandal has entered the mainstream media domain.
The king is in a much worse health and much worse shape than he appears to be. All of this has had a devastating effect upon his health.
I think it's very important that they don't come back now. And you can see that with William and Catherine, they will be absolutely delighted.
Claim the monarch was deeply focused on questions surrounding Archie and Lillibet and the ongoing rumors about how their births were handled. During this period, the Queen was dealing with serious health challenges and was said to be in significant discomfort. Even so, some accounts suggest she remained determined to understand the situation fully. According to those narratives, she wanted clarity about what had been said publicly and whether the royal family had been placed in a difficult position. Supporters of the Sussexes strongly dispute these interpretations, while critics argue the unanswered questions are exactly why the topic keeps resurfacing. According to palace insiders who reportedly spoke with royal biographer Sally Bedell-Smith, tensions inside the royal household reached a boiling point during the Queen's final months. The monarch, known for her calm and measured approach to nearly every crisis during her reign, was said to have become deeply unsettled by the ongoing rumors surrounding the birth circumstances of Archie and Lillibet. One insider claimed the Queen privately described the entire situation as something that stank to high heaven. In other words, she reportedly felt that the story being presented publicly
that this has come out because it says they didn't get on well with them, especially the two girls. Quite right.
So all of the pictures, my point is, out there were inconsistent with the idea of a real pregnancy.
The fake Duchess was acting in the run-up to her wedding. At that point, the Royal Rota were completely on side with Harry and Meghan. At that point, there was no sense that they were going to report how the Queen really felt in that moment at Windsor Castle.
Nothing to do with the royal family and nothing to do with the Queen. And she loved Harry for many years. You know, he was the second born and he was funny and enjoyable and she really loved him. But when Meghan came, He wasn't allowed to, I imagine, and he didn't want to, because everything had to be what Meghan wanted. And
did not fully line up with the information circulating behind palace doors. Observers say this wasn't just mild curiosity. According to those accounts, the Queen believed something about the situation needed clarification before the matter could be put to rest. During a small drinks reception at Balmoral, just weeks before she passed away in September 2022, one witness recalled a moment that shocked everyone present. The Queen reportedly spoke openly about the turmoil that had followed Prince Harry's relationship with Meghan. According to that account, she described the entire situation as having turned into a catastrophe for the family. The comment reportedly stunned the room because the Queen had long been known for her restraint and careful choice of words. What makes the story even more dramatic, according to those same sources, is that the Queen's final serious disagreement with Harry and Meghan allegedly centered on the ongoing surrogacy speculation. Reports claim she wanted the rumors addressed directly. The monarch was said to have asked for clear documentation, birth records signed by physicians, hospital confirmations, or other official paperwork that could remove the uncertainty surrounding the
wedding. By the time that she had figured out that this was a woman who was marrying into the royal family, not for love, Brittany, not for love, but to further her own career. And when she saw, and this I think is the key point for me, when she saw the way that this woman had changed her grandson forever, had destroyed the relationship between brothers, had destroyed the relationship between sister-in-law and brother, that's when she had had enough. So again, I know it's a strong word, Brittany.
Situation. Supporters of that theory argue the reason the Queen cared so much about the issue comes down to royal protocol and constitutional rules. Under long-standing British traditions, children in the line of succession must be born directly to the titled royal mother. If surrogacy were involved, critics claim it could raise complicated legal questions about titles and succession rights. Because of those rules, people who follow royal affairs closely say any confusion around a royal birth naturally attracts intense attention. Supporters of Harry and Meghan strongly reject the speculation and insist the couple followed all appropriate procedures. But critics argue the secrecy surrounding the topic has only fueled more questions online. According to commentators who believe the rumors deserve examination, both sides understood exactly how important the issue could become if doubts ever reached a wider audience. The discussion intensified further after Prince Harry released his memoir Spare. In the book, he describes several moments surrounding Archie's birth that some medical professionals later questioned. One example involved the description of Meghan receiving 2 epidurals during labor at Portland Hospital in London. Medical specialists note that an epidural typically involves placing a catheter near the spine that remains in place throughout labor, so medication can be adjusted if necessary. Doctors say replacing an epidural during the same labor would be unusual unless a serious complication occurred.
This case about whether you think the birth was real, whether you think there was a surrogate, whether you think Meghan was wearing a moon bump. The fact is, Harry and Meghan lied. Buckingham Palace lied on their behalf. There was a complete cover-up over the birth of Prince.
And that kind of situation would normally require additional monitoring. Critics who examined the timeline also focused on Harry's claim that Meghan returned home with Archie only a short time after the birth. Considering the distance from central London to Windsor and the standard hospital procedures that follow childbirth, some observers argued the schedule sounded extremely tight. Medical staff who have spoken publicly in general terms about childbirth procedures say hospitals normally keep mothers under observation for a period after delivery. Vital signs must be checked, recovery monitored, and newborn examinations completed. Feeding routines are also usually observed before discharge. Because of those standard practices, several commentators questioned whether such a quick departure from the hospital would realistically occur. Another point raised by critics involves Meghan's past mention of pregnancy complications such as preeclampsia. Medical experts describe preeclampsia as a serious condition that requires careful monitoring both before and after birth. In many cases, patients remain under observation for extended periods to ensure their blood pressure and overall recovery remains stable. For that reason, skeptics argue the timeline described in the memoir raises additional questions. Beyond the medical details, observers also point to confusion surrounding the public announcement of Archie's birth. Traditionally, when a royal baby arrives, Palace officials notify the Queen first, and then release a coordinated announcement to the public and media. However, the timeline of events in Archie's case appeared less straightforward than usual. Different explanations circulated about why the press had not been informed immediately. At various times, privacy concerns, unexpected circumstances, and changing logistical details were mentioned. The shifting explanations left some journalists unsure exactly when the birth had taken place. Some reporters were told the baby had already arrived hours earlier.
Important to go over sort of how Meghan responded to the royal family and how many divisions and conflicts that she was causing, because Meghan has really tried to paint herself as the victim in the scenario, when in fact she has been the villain in this whole royal family saga.
While others believed Meghan was still in labor. Because of those mixed messages, the story surrounding Archie's arrival quickly became one of the most debated royal moments in recent memory. Supporters say the confusion was simply the result of a family trying to protect their privacy. Critics, on the other hand, argue the unusual timeline and changing explanations only encouraged further speculation that continues to circulate today. The confusion surrounding Archie's arrival didn't just appear unusual to royal watchers. Some critics believe the mixed messages suggested that parts of the story were being carefully managed behind the scenes. Supporters of the Sussexes say it was simply a private family moment handled differently from past royal births. But skeptics argue the inconsistencies left too many unanswered questions. One moment that fueled debate happened when Prince Harry first presented baby Archie to the public. During the brief appearance, he commented that it was amazing how much the baby had changed in the last 2 weeks. The remark immediately caught attention. If the baby had just arrived, why mention 2 weeks? Harry quickly corrected himself, but the brief slip quickly spread across social media and discussion forums, where people began wondering whether the baby had been older than initially presented. For critics already questioning the timeline, the comment only added more fuel to the ongoing speculation. Some suggested the possibility that Archie may have spent early days outside the public eye for reasons not fully explained. Supporters of the couple, however, argue the comment was simply a harmless mistake during a nervous public moment. Another frequently discussed topic involves video footage from a royal visit to Birkenhead.
Been so determined to build some type of relationship with Meghan Markle, in part because she knew that Meghan Markle was a troublemaker who was probably going to accuse her of racism at some point. And so she asked her about the dress. She asked her about the damn wedding dress. And Meghan withholds that information? What? She thinks the Queen's gonna leak it? Ridiculous. Back to this incredible reporting from Sally Bedell-Smith. When we spoke 2 weeks before the May 19th wedding, Lisa, that is of course Lady Elizabeth Anson, had just heard from the Queen.
During Meghan's pregnancy, in the clip, viewers claimed her baby bump appeared to shift lower beneath her coat while she walked. The video quickly went viral online, with some commentators saying it resembled a prosthetic pregnancy belly, often nicknamed a moon bump, moving out of position. Defenders strongly disagreed with that interpretation. They argued the appearance could easily have been caused by folds in the coat, shadows, or camera angles. Even so, critics continued to analyze the footage frame by frame. Several angles appeared to show similar movement, which kept the debate alive among people who believe something about the visual details looked unusual. The discussion didn't stop there. Across dozens of photos taken during Meghan's pregnancy, critics claimed the size and shape of the bump seemed to change dramatically from one appearance to another. In some images, it appeared higher, in others lower, and sometimes unusually firm or rounded. A few photography enthusiasts even compared more than 50 public photos and argued the differences looked inconsistent with a typical pregnancy timeline. Medical professionals generally caution that pregnancies can look very different from person to person, and clothing or camera perspective can create misleading impressions. Still, the online analysis became another piece of the puzzle for those already convinced the official timeline deserved closer scrutiny. Years later, another moment stirred conversation again. In June 2025, Meghan shared a playful video that she said was filmed before the birth of Lillibet.
We did not use a surrogate and be done with it. Why they don't is suspect, but admitting they did use a surrogate would unravel the lies. Why the need for a moon bump? Why cosplay being
absolutely insane that they thought they could get away with it, especially Meghan Markle and Harry. The con of the century, 2 cons of the century in the form of 2 royal children included in the lineup.
The clip showed her dancing in what appeared to be a hospital setting while Harry filmed. The caption suggested the couple were trying to encourage labor through movement. Some medical professionals who commented publicly questioned whether that scenario made sense in a hospital environment. Labor and delivery units typically admit patients when labor is already underway or when medical induction procedures are scheduled. Because of that, critics argued the scene felt unusual compared to standard hospital practices. A midwife speaking generally about labor conditions explained that most women experiencing active labor are focused on managing contractions and physical discomfort. That comment quickly circulated online, with skeptics claiming the video looked more like staged content than a genuine medical moment. Supporters of the couple, however, saw the clip as lighthearted humor between 2 parents preparing for a major life event. Beyond the pregnancy debates, another topic frequently discussed online involves the public visibility of Archie and Lillibet. Royal watchers often compare their situation to the children of Prince William and Catherine. William and Catherine's children occasionally appear at public events, school activities, or family celebrations, allowing the public to see glimpses of their lives. In contrast, Archie and Lillibet have remained largely private while living in California. Supporters of Harry and Meghan say this reflects the couple's decision to give their children a quieter upbringing, away from intense media attention. Critics, however, argue the lack of public sightings has fueled additional curiosity about their day-to-day lives. Some commentators point out that California is a region where celebrities are often photographed during ordinary activities, such as school drop-offs or birthday gatherings. Because those types of images rarely appear involving Archie or Lillibet,
Meghan need to do is prove to us that she popped those babies out. And that's all they need to do. And if they don't, it is unfair on the children. It's also unfair on the royal family.
That it just really kind of boggles the mind. I mean, just for titles, for example. So when Archie was first born, they said they didn't want him to have a title. He was going to be a private citizen. I was like, bravo, you understand. He's not going to be a working member of the royal family. He is going to have to live a normal life, get a normal job. That is fantastic. And then it came out later in the Oprah Winfrey interview. Well, they denied him a title and security because he is a mixed race child. And then it was kind of like, and then later she kind of backed.
skeptics say the absence has raised further questions. Others argue that careful security and privacy planning could easily prevent such photos from appearing. Another layer to the discussion involves the palace itself. Critics sometimes ask why Buckingham Palace has never publicly addressed the rumors or requested further documentation. Supporters of the monarchy say the institution traditionally avoids engaging with speculation in order to prevent unnecessary public conflicts. There is also concern that any official investigation into private family matters could quickly become a highly emotional public debate. Discussions around identity, heritage, and fairness already dominate many conversations surrounding the royal family. Because of that, palace officials may believe addressing the speculation directly could create even more controversy than silence. The result is a situation where rumors continue circulating without clear resolution. For supporters of Harry and Meghan, the speculation represents intrusive scrutiny of a family trying to live privately. For critics, the unanswered questions remain a reason to keep examining the timeline and details surrounding the births. What remains undeniable is that the entire situation has become one of the most polarizing royal discussions in recent years. Online communities continue analyzing every photo, video,
bring to the public of each and every country of which the king is monarch to clear up any doubts about anybody in the line of succession. Meghan's conduct is what has triggered all of this. Archie doing a deep dive between the knees, Archie competing with Tom Daley before he was even given birth to. Archie's unique qualities, and we need to remember that Archie was truly unique because his first word was crocodile. And Archie, of course, was the product of a union that maritally started when they were roasting chicken. And I leave it at that. But what I will go back to say in terms without giving too much levity to their Harry and Meghan's really crazed bit.
And public comment, searching for clues that might confirm or dismiss the theories. Yet without definitive documentation presented publicly, the debate continues to grow louder. In the years since Harry and Meghan stepped away from their official royal roles, the conversation surrounding their story has only grown louder. Every new interview, documentary appearance, or public statement seems to reopen old debates and introduce fresh questions. Supporters continue to defend the couple's right to privacy and independence, while critics insist that the unanswered details surrounding the early years of their family deserve greater transparency. One of the main reasons the discussion refuses to fade is the sheer number of conflicting narratives that have appeared over time. Early interviews suggested one version of events, later books and documentaries introduced additional details, and media reports sometimes presented entirely different timelines. When stories evolve this dramatically, observers naturally begin comparing each version side by side.
Announce it when Meghan went into labor, for whatever reason. They kept Archie's birth private for over 8 hours. They did not tell people that he was actually born and arrived until 8 hours later. They also issued a confusing press release suggesting Meghan had just gone into labor after Archie had already been born. So they were playing games here with this. And the result was that the media and the public felt misled because they were misled.
They decide, okay, well, we have to come out and show the baby in some way, but we're not coming out to the street. The filthy masses are not going to have anything to do with our kid. So then they show up and there's Meghan in her white dress.
Trying to understand what actually happened and what may have been misunderstood. For many royal watchers, the key issue isn't simply about personal family matters. It's about the way those matters intersect with centuries-old royal traditions. The British monarchy operates under a complex framework of constitutional rules, ceremonial expectations, and public trust. Every birth, marriage, and title carries legal and historical significance that goes far beyond ordinary celebrity news. That's why discussions about Archie and Lillibet have attracted such intense attention. For critics who study royal protocol closely, even small inconsistencies can raise questions about how those traditions are being followed. For supporters of Harry and Meghan, however, those same traditions often appear outdated and intrusive, especially when they involve deeply personal aspects of family life. Another factor fueling the ongoing debate is the modern media environment itself. In previous generations, royal announcements were tightly controlled and information moved slowly. Today, however, every photo, every video clip, and every comment can spread across the internet within minutes. Social media users dissect images frame by frame. Podcasts analyze interviews line by line.
To her, what have you, I 100% believe that's entirely a possibility. But the whole pregnancy, no, if you know surrogacy laws in the UK, I believe my understanding is that not only can you not pay somebody to do it, so you can't actually, like in the United States, you can pay somebody to be a surrogate. That's not the case in the UK. But also as well, I believe Meghan would actually have to technically adopt Archie if he was not born from her. The legal guardian of the parent in the UK, which is a complication as well, is always the mother who gave birth. And then the adoption can be organized later, whereas that is not the case sometimes in the...
And online communities build entire theories from tiny details that might once have gone unnoticed. Because of this constant digital scrutiny, moments that might have once passed quietly can suddenly explode into global conversation. A single phrase during an interview, an unusual timeline in a memoir, or a viral video clip can spark weeks of speculation. The story grows larger with each new interpretation, and soon the original event becomes only one part of a much bigger narrative. Observers who defend Harry and Meghan often argue that the couple has been subjected to a level of scrutiny that few public figures could withstand. They point out that the intense focus on their private lives has created an environment where every action is interpreted in the most suspicious possible light. From that perspective, many of the rumors circulating online may say more about public fascination than about the reality of the situation. Critics see the situation differently. They argue that public figures who tell detailed stories about their experiences, especially in books, documentaries, and interviews, naturally invite closer examination. When a memoir includes very specific descriptions of events, readers will inevitably compare those descriptions with medical practices, timelines, and publicly known facts. For those critics, the ongoing debate is simply the result of people trying to reconcile different pieces of information. The palace itself has largely remained silent throughout the controversy.
has drawn a lot of attention to the controversies surrounding her kids, her pregnancies, how the children came into the world, the whole thing. Everything she's done has only drawn more speculation and brought the controversies back.
That silence has become a story of its own. Some observers believe the royal household avoids addressing rumors because doing so would only give them more attention. Others believe the institution prefers to maintain a strict boundary between official duties and personal family disputes. Historically, the monarchy has often relied on time to calm controversies. When public debate becomes intense, the strategy has frequently been to wait until the conversation fades naturally. In many cases, that approach has worked, allowing the royal family to continue its public responsibilities while private matters remain behind closed doors. But the modern media landscape may make that strategy far more difficult. With streaming platforms, social media, and online commentary channels, constantly revisiting old stories, a controversy can remain active for years instead of weeks. New audiences discover the debate, new commentators present fresh interpretations, and the cycle begins again. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan have continued building a life far from the royal spotlight they once knew. Living in California, they have focused on media projects, charitable initiatives, and raising their family away from the daily routines of palace life. Their supporters say this distance from royal obligations has allowed them to pursue causes they truly care about and to protect their children from the intense pressures that come with royal status. Yet critics argue that the couple's public projects often revisit their experiences within the royal family, which inevitably draws attention back to the same unresolved questions. When a documentary, interview, or memoir discusses past conflicts, audiences naturally begin examining those stories again, comparing them with previous accounts and with the broader historical record.
That Meghan and myself had a baby boy early this morning, a very healthy boy. Mother and baby are doing incredibly well. It's been the most amazing experience I could ever possibly imagine. How any woman does what they do is beyond.
As a result, the story surrounding Harry, Meghan, and the royal family has become one of the most discussed modern royal narratives. It touches on tradition, media power, family dynamics, and the changing role of monarchy in the 21st century. Each new development, no matter how small, seems to feed a conversation that shows no sign of disappearing anytime soon. For Queen Elizabeth II, whose reign lasted more than 7 decades, the stability of the monarchy was always a central priority. Throughout countless political changes, global events, and personal family challenges, she maintained a reputation for quiet resilience and careful diplomacy. That approach helped guide the institution through some of the most dramatic periods in modern history. Many observers believe that her final years were shaped by a desire to ensure that stability continued into the next generation, even as debates surrounding the younger members of the family grew louder. The Queen rarely spoke publicly about private disputes. Her focus remained on duty, continuity, and the preservation of the monarchy as a national institution. Today, long after those final months at Balmoral, the questions and debates surrounding the Sussex story continue to echo across headlines and online discussions. Some believe the unanswered details will eventually fade as new royal events capture public attention. Others believe the mystery surrounding those early moments will remain one of the most debated chapters in recent royal history. What is clear is that the intersection of royal tradition, modern media, and deeply personal family stories has created a narrative far more complex than anyone might have expected. And until clearer answers emerge, or the public simply moves on, the conversation surrounding Harry, Meghan, and the royal family.
Can Meghan, heavily pregnant, crouch down with her knees together? Well, quite a handful of people argue that since Meghan practices yoga, then she would have no problem doing exactly that. And it's great that Doria is a yoga instructor and Meghan has practiced with her since she was 7. That explains so much flexibility when she's stretching the truth. The one thing is being able to do a flawless crawl, and another very different
will likely
one
continue unfolding for years to come. According to several commentators who have followed the situation closely, the final months of Queen Elizabeth II's life were filled with deep concern about the future stability of the monarchy. Some accounts claim that during those private conversations, the Queen confronted Harry and Meghan directly and asked for documentation that could clarify the rumors circulating about Archie and Lillibet. Supporters of the Sussexes strongly dispute these stories, But critics argue the monarch believed the issue touched on constitutional traditions that had guided the royal family for generations. In those narratives, the Queen reportedly wanted something very simple: clear evidence that would silence the speculation once and for all. That could have meant official paperwork, physician confirmations, or hospital documentation verifying the births. According to those same commentators, the goal was not to embarrass anyone, but to ensure that the line of succession followed the same rules that had existed for centuries. To the Queen, the monarchy was not just a family. It was an institution tied to law, tradition, and public trust. Observers who believe these reports say the situation left the Queen feeling deeply unsettled. For more than 70 years, she had worked to preserve stability within the monarchy through political shifts, cultural changes, and family disagreements. During that long reign, she rarely spoke publicly about personal matters, choosing instead to handle sensitive issues quietly behind palace walls. Yet according to critics discussing these final events, the uncertainty surrounding Archie and Lillibet weighed heavily on her mind.
First pregnancy with Archie, she was just very weird about her bump. I mean, it drew more attention to it, but not in like a positive way. You're just like, why are you touching your stomach so much? You really don't. You just had a big burrito breakfast. That's what it looks like right now. Why are you cupping nothing? It was very bizarre. But as time went on, especially with, in particular, her weight gain, I was like, okay, I'm not really on the surrogacy thing here. Do I think there was any sort of injunctions? Not as far as I can tell, has that ever been reported? I mean,
especially when it comes to nauseating self-publicity, which invariably backfires. Sometimes, I don't know, words seem superfluous really. Meghan shared that bedside twerking video, taken shortly apparently before she gave birth to Lillibet. Remember the child that she named after the Queen's private nickname that was given to her by Duke of Edinburgh, without getting permission from the Queen.
At the center of the debate is a legal and historical detail that many casual observers rarely think about. The British line of succession is not simply a matter of family recognition. It follows specific constitutional principles. Those rules determine who can inherit titles and positions within the monarchy. Because of that structure, every royal birth historically comes with formal documentation and carefully managed announcements to ensure clarity about the line of succession. Supporters of Harry and Meghan argue that all necessary procedures were followed and that the ongoing speculation is driven mostly by online rumor cycles. They say the couple has every right to protect their children's privacy, especially after stepping away from official royal duties and relocating to the United States. From that perspective, the expectation that private medical details should be released publicly is unreasonable and intrusive. Critics, however, take a different view.
Archie and Lillibet, they haven't had any verification of who gave birth to those children, which is actually quite mandatory. We've heard Harry, the incredible story of Wonder Woman Meghan Markle walking out of a room 1 hour after giving delivery to.
They argue that once children are placed in the official line of succession, the situation becomes a matter of constitutional transparency rather than private family life. For them, the issue is not about personal curiosity, but about ensuring that the centuries-old system governing the monarchy continues to operate exactly as intended. That disagreement between privacy and tradition has become the heart of the entire debate. Today, years after the Queen's final months at Balmoral, King Charles III has not publicly addressed these rumors. The palace has maintained the same approach it has used during many past controversies: silence. No additional documents have been released publicly, and there has been no official statement directly responding to the speculation circulating online. Archie and Lillibet remain 6th and 7th in the line of succession according to the official royal website. For supporters of the monarchy, that silence reflects a long-standing principle. The royal household traditionally avoids responding to speculation because doing so can often amplify the story instead of resolving it. In many previous situations, palace officials have relied on time to quiet controversies, rather than engaging in public disputes. From that perspective, ignoring the rumors may be seen as the most effective strategy to prevent endless cycles of debate. But in the modern era of social media, that strategy may not work as easily as it once did. Online platforms allow discussions to continue indefinitely, with new commentators discovering the story and adding their own interpretations. A single video clip or interview quote can resurface years later, and spark another wave of analysis. Because of this constant digital attention, the questions surrounding Archie and Lillibet have never fully faded from public conversation. Critics who believe documentation should be presented say the solution could be straightforward. They argue that releasing official confirmation of the births, if such documentation exists, would immediately settle the issue and allow everyone to move forward. In their view, transparency would protect both the children and the monarchy by removing any lingering doubts about the line of succession. Supporters of Harry and Meghan respond that the situation is not nearly that simple. Medical records are among the most private documents a person can have, and releasing them publicly would set a precedent that could affect future royal families as well. They argue that if one set of royal parents is pressured to share personal medical information, future generations could face the same intrusive demands. Another factor making the situation complicated is the intense global attention surrounding the Sussex family. Over the past several years, every interview, documentary appearance, or public statement has been examined by millions of viewers around the world. That level of scrutiny means even small comments or inconsistencies can quickly become major talking points online. Because of that environment, some royal commentators believe the palace may prefer to avoid addressing the issue entirely. Any official investigation or public response could ignite an even larger media storm. Discussions about race, identity, and fairness have already shaped many of the debates surrounding Harry and Meghan's departure from royal life. Palace advisors may fear that revisiting sensitive questions could reopen those controversies in an even more intense way. For historians of the monarchy, the entire situation reflects a much larger challenge facing the institution in the modern age. The royal family operates within traditions that date back centuries, but it now exists in a world dominated by instant communication and constant public analysis. Balancing those two realities, ancient protocol and modern transparency, has become one of the defining challenges of the 21st century monarchy. Whether the rumors surrounding Archie and Lillibet eventually fade or continue to grow remains uncertain. Some observers believe the passage of time will gradually shift attention to new royal events and milestones. Others believe the unanswered questions will continue resurfacing whenever discussions about Harry and Meghan return to the spotlight. What remains clear is that the debate has become one of the most talked about royal controversies of recent years. It touches on issues of privacy, tradition, media influence, and the evolving expectations placed on modern public figures. For supporters of the Sussexes, the speculation represents unfair scrutiny directed at a young family. For critics, it represents unresolved questions about an institution built on centuries of constitutional rules. As new discussions about the Queen's reported concerns continue to circulate, the same central question keeps coming up again and again. If everything surrounding the births followed normal procedures, should more information be shared to end the speculation, or should those details remain private, protected from public debate, no matter how many rumors appear online? That's the question people around the world continue to argue about, and opinions remain sharply divided. So now we want to hear from you. What do you think about the situation? Should the palace release additional information to settle the debate once and for all? Or should the family's privacy come first, no matter what rumors appear? Share your thoughts down in the comments and let everyone know where you stand. If you found this deep dive interesting, make sure to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss future breakdowns of major royal stories. Share this video with others who follow the royal family and enjoy analyzing the biggest headlines. And stay tuned, because this conversation is far from over. We'll see you in the next one.